Breaking news: the way Putin made a fortune off of a Western boycott. In a manner that benefits his administration, his aristocracy, and his conflict, the president is dictating the conditions under which Russian companies can withdraw their investments. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky pleaded with Western companies, telling them to leave Russia shortly after Russian troops invaded his country. Stop the Russians from getting any money at all. A large number of businesses responded to the request. The Russian economy and the Kremlin's war effort would be weakened, according to politicians and activists. Vladimir V. Putin, the president, had different intentions. Russian loyalists and the state have reaped enormous benefits from the departure of large Western corporations, thanks to Mr. Putin. Companies that wanted to sell had no choice but to sell at rock-bottom prices because of him. Only those patronized by Moscow have been able to purchase his wares. Occasionally, he has outright taken over businesses. According to an article in the New York Times, Mr. Putin has managed to turn a predicted disaster into a scheme to enrich himself. An examination of financial reports conducted by the Times revealed that Western companies that have made announcements regarding their departure have reported losses exceeding $103 billion since the war began. Mr. Putin has dictated the conditions of companies' departure, squeezing them to extract as much wealth as possible. Additionally, he has levied ever-increasing taxes on those exits, which has brought in at least $1.25 billion for Russia's war fund in the last year. It is impossible to guarantee the security of any corporate transaction. For instance, in the spring of this year, the Dutch beer manufacturer Heineken found a buyer and established a price. According to those familiar with the negotiations, however, the Russian government rejected the deal on its own and instead transferred the company's Russian assets to a wealthy aerosol packaging magnate whose wife was a former senator from Russia. Overall, under Mr. Putin's watch, Russia has seen one of the largest transfers of wealth since the Soviet Union's demise. Russia has recently become an industry powerhouse, with a stranglehold on a wide variety of products including elevators, tires, industrial coatings, and more. Sometimes the state is that actor. Companies like IKEA and Toyota have had their assets taken over by government-owned enterprises. Sales are often personally approved by Mr. Putin. These are good deals for us, for sure, commented Anton Pinsky, a well-known restaurateur who, in his bid to acquire Starbucks, teamed up with a rapper who supported Putin and the cronies of a robust senator. Although he played down the importance of his own deal in a Moscow interview, he was forthright about the impact of the Western departures. "You botched it, left it," he remarked. "It was cheap, so we grabbed it. It is appreciated, even though the war has been longer, deadlier, and costlier than Mr. Putin had anticipated. A robust consumer world continues today in Russia, helping him maintain a sense of normalcy. Due to the substantial investments made by foreign companies in Russia over the years, the majority of these companies have chosen to stay put. A feeling of looking through a looking glass characterizes other companies that have recently been sold. Crunchy Dream, the new Krispy Kreme, sells donuts in the same familiar flat box with all the same flavors. Stars Coffee is the new Starbucks. The once mermaid is now a princess of swans in Russia. Raw materials can be purchased by these companies either from within the country or from countries that are friendly to them. Even after products are purportedly removed from shelves, customers can still easily purchase them. A Moscow supermarket recently carried Uzbek Pepsi and Polish Coca-Cola. Mr. Putin's economic counterstrikes have mitigated the impact of Western isolation and strengthened support among war-profiting elites. The Russian economy has allowed Mr. Putin to play the long game, in contrast to Ukraine's focus on short-term imperatives like bolstering international support. Secret financial records, interviews with dozens of Russian and European dealmakers, many of whom wish to remain anonymous for fear of reprisal, and other evidence reveal that Moscow now oversees almost every exit. In order to get sale approval, companies have to figure out a complicated system. His friends have personally asked Mr. Putin to step in on occasion. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry S. Peskov told The Times, "Those who are leaving are losing their position. And naturally, our companies are acquiring their property at a steep discount and are thoroughly enjoying the process. Even so, it's hurt that so many companies have left. This has effectively made Russia an economic pariah on a worldwide scale. There is a danger of the economy becoming too hot. The way Mr. Putin has dealt with Western departures has further solidified Russia's reputation as a risky business destination. The long-term effects on ordinary Russians and the economy will be negative, as even some high-ranking Russian officials have acknowledged it is preferred, according to the Kremlin, that businesses stay in Russia. The idea that leaving will cause pain, however, is dismissed by Mr. Putin. Is this where they expected everything to fall apart? Well, nothing like that occurred, he stated earlier this month. Russian corporations assumed control and proceeded.